Now, I know from experience, as I'm sure a lot of you do, that driving with a kid in the car is pretty stressful. Now, driving with count them, 7 kids in the car, I'm guessing is even more stressful. Where does one get car seats for that many kids? And what kind of a vehicle? Like, I don't even think a minibus is going to cut it. You'd need a straight up double decker for all those kids. Anyway, this lassie over here decides to drive around with all those kids in her car, apparently hanging out the windows, causing all sorts of problems. But of course, it's somebody else's fault in pretty strange circumstances. Anyway, check this out. Let me know what you think.
Ma'am, you gotta mute yourself. Red microphone icon, bottom of your screen.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Ypsilanti Township versus Ted Leith Jackson. Case numbers 23W001 or 4133A, 33B, and 33C. These citations are October 20th of this year on Gulfside and International, cited for 3 individual citations of violation of child restraint. All right, Deputy, are you ready to proceed, or is there a proposed resolution this time?
I'm ready to proceed, sir.
Okay. Ma'am, you have 3 options available to you with regard to these citations. Your first option is to admit responsibility without an explanation. In other words, pay the citations and according to your time to pay if needed. Your second option is to admit responsibility with an explanation, or we'll take the explanation into consideration. If there are any mitigating factors in the explanation, that could be taken into consideration with regard to the fine. Or your third option is to deny responsibility. If you choose to deny responsibility, the court will then take sworn testimony both from the deputy and from yourself. And based upon a preponderance, which is a standard meaning of roughly 51% either side, the court will then make a determination as to whether or not you are responsible for the citations. Do you have any questions with regard to these options?
No,
And how do you wish to proceed?
I don't feel like I'm responsible for the ticket, and I have an explanation why my kids were not in the car seat.
Okay, so you'd like to fight the tickets, or do you want to make that?
I do.
Okay.
Because, Your Honor,
You need to
go ahead.
process. Both of you please raise your right hand to be sworn. You both swear or affirm the testimony you provide to will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, the matter before the court today?
Yes.
I do.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. So, ma'am, the deputy's going to testify first, then you'll have an opportunity to respond. I'd ask that both parties refrain from interrupting each other. If there's questions for the other party, please hold the question and direct the questions to the court. If it's a relevant question, the court will have it answered. All right, deputy, you may proceed.
Holy mother of flat top and tash, this guy is the real deal.
Yes, sir. It would have been on October 20th. I got called to International Drive reference, child custody issue. While I was there speaking to Miss Jackson, I observed several children in the vehicle that were kind of hanging out the windows. She was parked at the time. She ended up leaving. She came to her station. She spoke to her supervisor, who also observed. He stated 9 children in the car, none of which were restrained. So she had left from Gulfside International and drove to Huron Street with all of these children unrestrained. At that point in time, we had driven back to International for the child exchange, and once we delivered the child to her, I issued her the citations.
Just a quick break, lads and lassies, to say thank you for watching the video. If you're enjoying it so far, hit that like button. Consider becoming a member or a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel. And other ways you can support the channel would be through PayPal or grabbing some merch from the merch store. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, what do you want to tell the court?
Okay, Your Honor. Actually, it was not 9 children inside of the vehicle. It was actually 7.
Ah, okay. It wasn't one huge amount of children. It was a different huge amount of children. Case closed. Everybody go home. Nope. Okay, then.
And my baby was in the car seat. And unfortunately, the reason why I did not have my car seat is because the child custody that we were going through, the girl that I was beefed out with that stole my baby had the car seats in her car, and which I'm still fighting with CPS right now. They've contacted her numerous times to get my car seats from her. She's not. I have not transported my children since. And usually I don't transport them all together, but it was an emergency because my friend was trying to commit suicide at the time. So I had no choice. And my mother, who normally transport the children with me, was at work. So I had no choice but to bring them with me.
Now, if that is indeed a true story, it's a very sad, scary situation. I'm absolutely certain of that. But in that scenario, would it not have been better to maybe call the cops to have that emergency response to go and help your friend out? Not put the lives of your children in danger in order to go and help that person. And either way, just because this other lady that I don't know what's going on with the baby situation, that's neither here nor there. But even if it was the case that she had your car seats, that doesn't then mean that you can just do whatever you want.
Okay.
And one more thing to add on there. The citation that he wanted to give me, I kind of feel like it was because I'm actually in a lawsuit with Washtenaw County Sheriff Department. He waited until the end, until I told them that if he did not return my child, that it would be a problem. It took for CPS to call them, and they knew that my kids were not in car seats. I let them know, like I told them myself, so that, you know, that's why they told me to meet them at my mother's house so that we can be fine. He waited until we got there to issue me out a citation instead of issuing it right then and there.
Okay. Yep. Anything further?
Nothing further, sir.
Okay. Well, Ms. Leith Jackson, there's certainly a lot going on around this, but none of it, you know, is a defense to the not having the children properly car seated. I mean, there's no exceptions to the car seat law. There's no, you know, I mean, you know,
I understand that.
There's reasons and things you've given, but none of them are defenses to the citations. The citations were properly issued, you know, based upon the observations that the children were not in the car seats and your admissions that they were not. So, court finds you responsible for the citations. They're $120.
And then also, too, Your Honor, not to cut you off,
She says while cutting him off.
my car, I have a little car. I don't have like a big vehicle. I have a third row Dodge Journey. So even if, you know, that's why I have my mother transporting us, because there's not enough room in the vehicle.
And I acknowledge everything you say, but
Mhm.
none of that excuses not having the car seats for the children. So, so how much time would you need to pay these?
I can't pay. I don't have any income. And how does it, I'm not trying to cut you off again. How doesn't it excuse it if the girl that kidnapped my daughter has the car seat?
Well, you simply, I mean, as you said, you simply can't transport the children if you don't have the car seats. I mean, that's
Exactly. But she has them in her
Mhm.
vehicle.
right. But her bad act does not excuse transporting the
That's
children without the car
that's
seats.
exactly, that's true too.
All right. So you do have 7 days to appeal my decision. If you want to file an appeal, you can contact the court for the appeal. We're going to set this for a show cause hearing on payments to March the 5th of 2024. All right. If you still owe money on that date, you'll need to appear for the show cause hearing via Zoom. Okay.
Okay, wait. So I go back to court March when?
March 5th, 24. Okay.
And this is for what?
If you still owe money, you need to appear and explain
Okay,
why those.
how do I take it to trial?
You just did take it to trial. That's exactly what this whole thing was.
If you want to appeal the court, if you want to appeal my decision, you contact the clerks, the same folks you talked to set up the hearing in the first place, and they'll tell you how to appeal it.
Okay.
Okay. All righty.
Thank
Thank
you.
you both. Have a good day.
Well, there we have it. Over half a dozen children. Half a dozen children in a little car, all of them hanging out the windows and everything. Now, I get it. The situation with your friend is probably very stressful and you wanted to go help them out. I totally understand that. Would it have been possible to get somebody to watch that football team of children for, you know, the time that you needed to get there? And even so, it doesn't negate the fact that you put all of those children's lives at risk. Think about it really logically now. You put every single one of them at risk so that you could go help somebody, which is a noble act in and of itself, but not at the cost of your own children. It's certainly not that other person's fault that you chose to drive. It may be their fault that you don't have your car seats. And I get it. They're probably not very cheap or whatever, but that's completely immaterial. You still did it. It'd be like if somebody stole the light bulbs out of the front of my car and I drove without them on and said, "No, officer, I'm not accepting your ticket. Somebody stole my light bulbs." Doesn't matter. I still have to have those light bulbs on. Anyway, lads and lassies, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Keep your eyes peeled for some more. There's quite a few coming up today, so definitely check those out. Make sure and hit the like button and all that good stuff. And we will catch you in the next one. Sláinte.